Awesome. I just need to set it up. Hmm. I don't know what's happening. Okay, I'm gonna have to change the title of this. Maybe that this doesn't truly matter because I'm talking to myself. I'm reading my book. Alright, I'm back. So I decided I wanted to do this just because, like, I've been wanting to read out loud more, like on and off. And then I saw this one post on TikTok, and she was like, when you read out loud, it really helps you become a more articulate person. And then I also wanted to do this because I am in the future, in the close future, going to be making a little podcast video of the stories I have written. I am like actually this close to being done with the first draft of Vicky Pearson. And that's really exciting. And I'm just like, I'm really proud of myself for getting that far. And I'm so close to being done with it. I have like, who knows? I'm not even going to say. But I'm so close. And it's exciting to be getting there. And then once I'm done with the first draft, I'm going to like go to my local library that has a recording session, recording studio, and like record that. So I just want to have, the practice to reading out loud because, it's a skill and whatnot. We can all get better at stuff. Okay, so I've been reading Powerless by Lauren Roberts on the train. Uh, and then I stopped for a little bit. And since no one's here, I don't feel bad starting off like halfway through this book instead of like starting something new. Uh, so, yay. Mm, Chapter 30, Hayden. Unsurprisingly, I didn't listen to him. As soon as I got my as soon as my ass got numb from sitting on that bloody stoop, I stood up and paced or cooled around our camp before splashing cold water from the creek on my face and body. Then my ass got cold. And then I and then no. Then my ass got cold. And I moved to the next fire no. And I moved to the next fire to lie down on the hollowed ground I'm so familiar with. I refused to watch as Kai lifted Sadie's body over his shoulder and stopped her off with her. Where he dumped her, I have no idea. And I don't want to know, I realized. But I let my thoughts wander while he wanders around the woods with a dead body slung over his shoulder. I watched the dying fire from where I lay on my side, the crook of my arm tucked under my head, making for an uncomfortable pillow. My breathing is now under control. The shaking from my leftover adrenaline and shock now faded. I might have been lying here for hours if I cared to try to keep in track. If I if I cared to try and keep track of time. A shadow suddenly sweeps over me, belonging to someone not crouching behind me. I I grip the handle of Sadie's knife. I flip around in one swift movement, bringing the tip of the blade to the throat of whoever decided it was a smart idea to keep on me. My eyes crash into stormy eyes, looking amused rather than afraid. Easy, Kai murmured, gently wrapping a rough hand around my waist and pulling the dagger away from him. It's just me. The corner of his mouth twists as he says, I don't although I doubt that knowledge would stop you from keeping this blade to my throat. I managed a slight smile at that thought, running a hand through my tangled hair as I looked up at him crouching beside me. Since we're partners now, you don't have to worry about me stabbing you for the time being. He let out a deep chuckle, and I hope the dim light hides most of my smile at the sound. And when we aren't partners anymore, should I fear for my life? That would be wise, yes. I barely hear him mutter, vicious little thing. We're quiet for a moment, and my smile begins to slowly fade. I'm tired and surprisingly comfy on the packed dirt, so I don't bother moving to say, did you? Yes. He cuts me off, sparing me from having to speak about Sadie's body. My gaze nags on his hands, the thin layer of dirt covering them. It's under his nails, splattered up his arms. A dusting of yellow on his fingertips catches my eye. A fine powder straining, no, a fine powder staining his skin. Dirt, pollen. My voice is a little more than a whisper. You buried her. You buried her? Kai still beside me. Not only that, my eyes slowly slide up to meet his. He laid flowers on her grave. His smile is almost sad, filled with fatigue. As I get past you, little psychic. He reaches out a hand, then flicking out. He reaches out a hand, then flicking the very tip of my nose, like he's done when we danced. Somehow, the simple action feels far more intimate than I care to admit, as though he is sharing something precious with as though he is sharing something special with me, something without uttering a single word. I catch his hand before he pulls away, trying to ignore the feel of his callus, trying to ignore the feel of his calluses against my own. Thank you, Guy. That was good of you. That was good of you to do that for her. His lips twitch and his eyes drop to our joined hands before trailing back to mine. I didn't do that for her. Okay, that's better. Anyways, the intensity in his gaze makes me swallow, but I don't look away. I don't want to look away. He runs his thumb over my knuckles, the action so soothing, so gentle. He cocks his head to the side, inspecting me. How are you feeling? I open my mouth, but Kai beats me to my rehearsed response. And don't bother saying you're fine, because we both know that's a lie. Another stroke of his thumb across my knuckles. My eyes my eyes flutter closed, and I take a deep breath. I'm feeling like I almost died today. I'm feeling overwhelmed and in over my head, feeling furious and frustrated because I don't know how to feel about all of this. I pause while Kai waits patiently for me to continue, and I'm feeling like I owe you a thank you. I would have died today if it weren't for you saving me. He leans closer, eyes brimming with barely bottled up emotions. And I'll save your life again and again, aimlessly hoping you will allow me to stay in it. We stare at each other. Those pretty words and the, those pretty words of his have my heart pounding, brain puzzling over possible meanings. The tension between us is tangible, taking my breath away as he takes me in. I'm grasping for something, anything to say. I'm too busy staring to think straight. And then a quiet question slips past my lips, snapping the tension between us. How are you to come after all of this? I know the answer, and yet I find myself wanting to hear it from his own lips. I didn't always used to be like this, he said softly, but practice makes perfect. And I've had a lot of it. We stare silently at one another, and once again I'm struggling for something to say. Then I remember the then I remember the leather strap I had stolen from him and slipped my hand out of his to pull it from my pocket. Well, I suppose this is only well, I suppose this is the only way I can repay you. Though it's yours to begin with. He gives me a lazy shrug. Keep it. I don't want your pity. It's not pity, Peyton. He sighs out of the words my name. Besides, I have another a one. Besides, I have another one of my own now. And taking down Sadie was a joint effort. Oh yeah. I almost forgot what was happening. Um, I level with him with a look and prepared to argue since we both would know he didn't necessarily need my help with Sadie. He didn't miss the fight in my eyes. He just take the damn letter, guy. If you want to offer me one thing, I need If he wants to offer me one thing, I need no. Fuck, why is this not coming to me? If he wants to offer me one thing, I need to help. If he wants to offer me one thing, I need to help me win these trials. Then fine. Okay, whatever. I don't know why that sentence is bugging me, but it is. Um, I'll take that damn leather, but not before I've had some fun. I s- smiles with my lips. I smile with my lips. Say please. He looks away from me, shaking his head at the starry sky. You have been waiting to make me say this, haven't you? Dying to actually. His forearms rest on his bent knees as he leans even closer, face hovering closer above mine. The smile he gives is equally as lazy as his gaze, traveling over my face. Please pay. A shiver runs down my spine as a shiver runs down my spine as the caress that is his voice. That seems to be a foreign word to you, Prince. Thanks to you, thanks to you, I have a feeling I'm going to grow very familiar with it. If you had the power to make me bleed, I swallow, choosing to ignore his words as I shove the leather into my pocket and uh, roll to face the fire once more. Suddenly cold and content to be quiet. The temperature has dropped significantly tonight. My thin tank does little to keep me warm. I do have one condition though. I roll my eyes. Of course he does. And what would that be? I ask through my teeth, not bothering to look at him. An arm wraps around my middle, carefully avoiding my wound, while tugging me against a broad chest. I startle at the sudden contact. A soft laugh sounds close to my ear. I get to use to use you to keep me warm. There's a certain hesitancy to him, a type of timidness he he only lets me see in moments like these. He holds me loosely, delicately, like whatever shared fragile feelings between us could shatter if handled with a lack of care. A question laces every lingering touch, every look too long, every layer of ourselves we choose to divulge to one another. The, the arm around me is no different, speaking volumes to the form of hovering fingers and hesitant hold. Is this okay? I swallow hard, throat has gone dry. My answer is agonizingly slow as I slide closer to him. It's more than okay. Eagerness is an emotion I've always been able to blame on circumstances, and I wish desperately it wasn't desire driving my emotions. No, driving my decisions. I hear from, mm, I hear him take a breath, only realizing then that he had been holding it, and remnant, all that, and, and then all remnants of hesitation is gone. His hand, he no, his hand settles on the far side of my waist, where my tank is slowly beginning to slide up. He's wasted no time pulling me against him, allowing me to feel the rise and fall of his chest, feel the steady beat of his heart pounding against his back. Tell me, does this annoy you? He asks quietly, breathing the question closer to my ear. His, he's throwing my words back at me, and I can almost feel him smirking. He wants he wants this to annoy me. He wants this to get under my skin and make me flustered with every I no with every finger he has on his body. Okay, that's a choice of phrase. Bastard. I simply can't allow that. So I say with confidence, I don't currently feel. Not at all. I can't be bothered, Azar. Good, he says coolly. Then he lays his head on my arm and shoulder, his soft, inky hair tickling my skin. Who needs a pillow when you're here? I huff with what I hope sounds like annoyance, thanks to him. I'm now suddenly wide awake and unable to focus on anything else. But the heat of his body gets mine. He finally drops his hand from my shoulder and lays close to the back of mine, practically buried in my hair. Sweet dreams pay, sweet dreams guide. His hand tightens ever so close. No. His hand tightens ever so slightly on my waist in response to the sound of his name rolling off my tongue. And then his tongue, no. And then his thumb is brushing lazy light strokes over the fabric of my thin tank. I suppress a shiver. I suppress a shiver, swallow and shut my eyes. Just go to sleep. Easier said than done. I'm far too focused on his sweeping thumb, his arm wrapped tightly around me, his chest rising and falling against my back. A that I don't hate it, and that's when it hits me. Distraction. He's doing it again. He's mm, he's taking my mind off the death I just witnessed, off the fact that I watched him kill someone because they were going to kill me. He's the he's the only thing keeping my thoughts from Sadie's dead body. The only thing that will chase my nightmares away for her tonight, because I'm too occupied with the thought of him. And this is the distraction that benefits both of us. I find myself smiling as I think about the calculating boy behind me. The calculating boy who, for some reason, cares. Now, that chapter was short, so I will be reading the second one. Like, I'm not going to be doing it now, especially no one's here. Um, but because I'm like self improvement and whatnot, I'm going to like because I saw this post on Pinterest and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta use that. And it was like some questions you want to use, some questions you want to ask yourself, like for like critical thought about like books you read or something. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll use them at the end of every chapter or every at the end of every live, you know. So, mm-mm. Chapter. This is like a short chapter, but it's like it's short. But I'll probably not. I'm not gonna mandate you 3 chapters today. I'm not like I don't want to. That's really it. I just don't want to. Chapter 31. Kai. Kai. So now we spend our final day in the whispers trying to get out. It was late afternoon when a sight interrupted our routine of eating, stringing back together. The girl was young and timid, only managing to drop a folded piece of parchment onto the nearby stump before she vanished into the forest. The note, to no surprise, was incredibly cryptic. It offered no details, only informing us that we were to meet at the edge of the whispers at sunrise. So after climbing another plague forsaken pine tree to see which direction to head to, we set off trudging through the forest. And after several long hours of this, we've grown restless to say the least. I hear Peyton swear, stumbling behind me. These damn snakes. I turn around in time to see her flip the dagger in her hand, holding it by the blade before effortlessly sending it flying onto the head of a snake, slithering by her feet. The hissing dies along with the rest of the creature before Peyton casually tugs the blade out of its skull. I turn, I turn back to the path of thick foliage in front of me, and smile tugging at my lips, thanks to the girl behind me. Then I hear a muttered sentence followed by a string of curse words that only matters to make my grin glow. I'm sorry, what was that, Gray? Oh, fuck. I had to not bothering to look over my shoulder. We are, we are, we are, we are all only being forced onto one area for a bloodbath. And she huffed and pushing past me. That sounds about right. I said with a sigh. The sky above us is quickly darkening, and under this on the cover of the trees, the light is getting dimmer. Light is getting dimmer. She turns, and I see her open her mouth to likely make some smart ass comment before clamming it shut. When the sound of its sword snapping echoes around us. We halt, eyes scanning the endless trees and plants surrounding us. Whatever it is, it sounded heavy and heading our way. Then I heard a muffled voice grow louder as the owner of it grows closer. Please, there is no way you can blink from here to the edge of the whispers. I most certainly could. It's just dark now, so I can't. Or there is, or there are two, no, or there are too many trees blocking my view. But if it weren't for that, I totally could. Sure, you use that as your excuse. I think you're just jealous. Keep telling yourself that. I hear the echo of laughter and the sound of scuffled feet, no doubt the result of playful shoving. The power of the two opponents nearby seeps into my bones, but but I don't need to know their ability to know who they are. Braden hesitantly follows behind when I head in their direction. I push through the trees and plants with my pulse quickening in anticipation. Shoving, no, shoving aside a branch. Doesn't matter. Shoving aside a branch, I spot the two figures walking toward us. Andy sticks out her foot and catches Jack's ankle, nearly setting him spiraling to the ground. Their quiet laughter is abruptly cut off when they see us and halt in their tracks. Well, don't look too excited to see me, I say dryly. Okay, now where was I? Well, don't look too excited to see me, I say dryly, taking a step forward towards them. Kai, Jax is squinting through the growing darkness, his eyes light up with recognition. He's before me in a few of his long strides. Gosh. And I catch his head in the crook of my arm to scruff up his short hair despite his fur tats. And he walks up with a smile. Good to see you alive. Yeah, that's great, Jax agrees, rubbing his head. But I could do without your usual greeting. So how was your stay in the whispers? And how was your stay in the whispers? Andy says. Andy stops short, or I slide into something over my shoulder. Braden stops behind me, offering a distant smile. She doesn't trust them. I don't blame her. But it's clear that she doesn't trust me. She doesn't trust them, and I don't blame her. But it's clear that she trusts me. Well, she would have run rather than follow me out here. I suppose a smile at the thought as I suppose. I suppress a smile at the thought as I say. We had a quite the eventful stay in the whispers. Andy offers Peyton a smile and a nod. Wait, I'm gonna finish this. Andy offers Peyton a smile and a nod of her head while Jax grins sheepishly. My gaze flicks in the darkening sky and I sigh, we better keep walking if we want to make it to the edge by dawn. We turn and begin heading through the thick foliage, fumbling slightly in the dark. So tell us what happened to you two. Okay, I'm gonna finish this page and then I'm gonna go back. Because it's not even long. I'm like, oh my god. And he laughs bitterly. A better question would be, what didn't happen to us? We found each other on the third day at Jack's cut in, but before that, I was lying pretty low since my ability doesn't go so unclouded terrain like this. I saw Blair once, but blinked high into a tree before she could spot me, and whipped my arm off my shoulder. No, whip and ripped my arm off to get my leather. And Plague knows she would too. Andy mutters under her breath, while Peyton hums in agreement. Jackson continues with a shrug. But other than her, I didn't see anyone else. When I was on my own, my biggest competition was just surviving the forest alone. What about you, Andy? Wayne asked fiercely. Well, unlike Jack's here, I was lucky enough to counter two opponents on my own. She rolls her eyes in annoyance. I came across Blair, and the fight was intense, but unfortunately the bitch had my hand, got my band, and then she draws out the words of the day before I found Jax. Hera paid me a visit. I woke up in the middle of the night and into invisible night trying to saw the leather off my arm. I eventually got her brand, but it wasn't easy considering that I couldn't see her half the time. Then Andy found me, and we've been together ever since. I hear the easy smile in Dax's voice. Baxton found us. Baxton found us, but after we, mostly Andy, took him down, we found that he didn't have a leather on him. Jack's eyes, Jack's eyes widened, and he blurted, "Oh, it was covered in all of these nasty birds. It was gross." Okay. I clear my voice. Well, that's thanks to me. And he laughs. That's not surprising at all. Oh, we also fell into the pit of snakes. Jax cuts in with a shudder. Those things were worse than the trials itself. Snort, no, Snort escapes Andy. Yeah, I'm surprised every contestant in the yeah, I'm surprised every contestant in the Whispers didn't hear Jack screaming like a little girl. At that, Jack simply shrugs, not bothering to deny it. And then we found Ace with a oh gosh, I feel like I'm dying. And then we found Ace. With the both of us, it wasn't too difficult to take him down and steal his leather. Jack scratches his head. I'm getting water. Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh. Okay, hopefully that will carry me through. Hopefully this last will carry me through to the next five, through the next 4 pages. Okay. Okay. And at that, Jack simply shrugged, not bothering to deny it. Not bothering to deny it. And then we found Ace. With the both of us, it wasn't too difficult to take him down. Until his leather. Jack scratches his head, considering something, especially because he was slipping so badly. And we see the flash of pain and grin, even in the darkness, beginning to swallow us. And that is thanks to me. And that is thanks to me. Peter and I quickly filled two of them in on what we learned in this past week, though she carefully avoids the more intimate details of our time together. So Sadie's is dead, and he asks a question sounding more like a statement. Yes, I say simply. Yes, I say simply. She is. I talk for a long while as we continue heading toward the edge of the forest. Inevitably, we eventually fall silent, the only sound coming from the birds above us. Coming from the birds above us. Tweedle tweed, tweedle tweed. And the crunch of leaves and twigs beneath us. I see the opening just as the sky begins to lighten. Freedom beyond hundreds of yards. Freedom yawns hundreds of yards away as the trees stirs again. And the edge of the whispered draws nearer. Our pace quickens, all of us itching to be rid of this place while while the sun races us. Heading for the horizon as we head towards freedom. A mass of bodies comes into view from the trees, less than a mile past the edge of the forest. Hundreds of people are gathered within the wide field waiting patiently to watch the show. An audience. Uh, we are silent as we finally step to the edge of the tree line. The sun has had slowed no. The sun had slowed its pace, too lazy to rise. The trial isn't over just yet. I look towards the rest of no. I look towards the sea of people, all pointing in our direction, though their powers are just out of out of my reach. I do feel the weight of sights all around us, preparing to document the finale. Dun dun dun. Movement flickers in my peripheral. My phone's better. Movement flickers in my peripheral. We swivel towards it. Peyton's bow already drawn. I'm gonna finish this page and then read it. Um, Peyton's bow already drawn and aimed at the figure stepping out of the trees and into the open field and on the other side. Tangled lilac hair blows across Blair's face as she as her lips twist into a sneer, taking us in. Her cold gaze is pinned on Peyton as she says, "Don't you know that alliances ruin all the fun. Being inside, I would say I'm happy to see you alive, but apparently I'm a horrible liar, so I try. My mouth twitches into a smile at her words. Braxton steps out of the Braxton steps through the trees. His eyes flicker between us, looking determined and desperate to get a before the trial ends. Oh gosh, fuck. So his solution is to start charging at Blair. I tear my eyes away from him when I hear a branch crouch behind us. I turn. I turn, staring at nothing but the crisp air. And Jackson doubles over from the impact of an unexpected and unseen punch. Ouch, he wheezes. Hero had survived. Andy transforms into a wolf form, sniffing the air to find Hero before suddenly charging in what would only be her direction. I whip I whip my head around, searching. There's only one lead left. And then I see him. He's the furthest from us, standing with his arms crossed over his chest, observing the chaos that is unfolding before him. With a smug smirk, Ace's eyes lock with mine. His grin grows. Found my target. The scene across the scene around me is a blur of blood and bodies. Peyton and Andy are fighting off Braxton and Blair, while Drax and Hera disappear and dance around each other, landing solid blows before vanishing. That leaves Ace entirely to me. And I actually completely forgot whose POV we were in. This is this is Kai. I'm like doing Peyton and Andy are fading off Bax and Blair while Jax and Harold disappear and dance around each other. And landing solid blows before vanishing at least Ace entirely to me. I barely bat an eye at the violence surrounding me as I take on Hera's power and disappear into the chaos. I can only no. I only dread the veil the availability when I'm right before him so he can see my face. When I stand up, I fits into his nose with a sickening clench. He staggers back, clenching in the broken nose as his eyes fly to mine. Yeah, and then it's like something's in my throat that just won't come out. And then suddenly I see nothing at all. A thick stone wall encases me, and yet something pierces my side. The sharp pain only sharpens my senses, reminding me this is only an illusion. Though the pain though the pain in my side is the pain in my side is anything but. I step through the wall it and it vanishes in the wisp of smoke, revealing Ace clutching a spear in his bloody hand, the same spear that nearly killed Peyton. I blink behind him, having taken Jackson's ability, and drive my knee into his back. And then I'm blinking around him, hitting him hard without hesitation. I'm playing with him. I could easily finish this without hesitation. Just do it, then, bitch. No, fuck. That's not how that sentence ends. I could easily finish this fight quickly, but but I won't delay that. But I won't deny that I'm a monster who wants to have a little fun with him first. After I send a blow to his jaw, he suddenly multiplies before my very eyes. Dozens of aces surround me, all moving and mixing up with one another, leaving me to get to where the real one ran off to. That's what happens when you dilly dally. I filter through the powers at my display, the ones daring me through my skin from those surrounding me. Blaze Blaze. Okay, I don't know why I thought someone was calling me. Blaze telepowers surges in my veins, beginning to be used. That could be fun. Now I just need to find the real. Pain laces up my life when the tip of his spear dives into it. Doing, I grit my teeth and turn towards him. There you are. Smile, I lift him off the ground with nothing more than in my mind. He gasps, choking as I crush his windpipe, his feet dangling a good 2 feet off the ground. His mouth is moving, making odd noises he, he tries to get into as he tries to get air into his screaming lungs. I'm still smiling. What was that? I can't quite hear you. His duplicates vanish into smoke beside me, and all in the cries of fighting around us fade as I focus on him. Focus on his life that I hold in my hands, in my mind. But the cry of pain I hear next doesn't belong to him. I know that voice. I haven't heard that sound. Silent. I haven't heard that sound. And silently hoped I never would again. No, I've heard that sound and silently hoped I would again. My head whips to the crumpled body lying close to me. As a, fuck me, close to me. Silver hair sticking to her fevered face, and tears rolling over her freckles. Blood gushing over a jagged tear beneath her ribs, and a struggled sob escapes her. I'm like, fuck. My body's trying to kill me, man. Like, Kai, help me. Peyton whisper is so quiet. A single breath away from death. Is it real? Oh, I don't know. Covers her hands, her hair, her body, straining her revolting red. Kai, it hurts. She screams the words in agony, her body racking with sobs and spasms of pain. I haven't realized my hold on AIDS had slipped. I didn't realize I let him drop to the ground until he was. I didn't realize my hold on AIDS had. I didn't realize I let him drop to the ground until he was on top of me, knocking the breath from my lungs. The tip of his spear is digging into my throat. His legs paining down my arms, and then the smug smile is back, as he as though he wasn't gasping for air a minute ago. Because you stupid. And here I was thinking you were the strong one, the prince who didn't let its emotions get in the way. He smiled as he pointed tip of this spear pierces my skin, drawing hot blood. But look at you, a condescending laugh. Caring for her has made you weak. Oh my gosh, fuck her. He's about to drag the blade across my throat. Guy, Jack's voice startled both of us. And I turned my head to the side just in time to see him and toss a single arrow. And then one swift motion plunged it deep into the chest, open side of Ace's flesh while pushing the spirit's water away from me. He screamed when the arrow sank into his soft flesh off his shoulder. His hold on me loosened, and I threw off from I threw him off before staggering to my feet. The silence of my neck, the bleeding, the slice of my neck, leaking blood. I just went to find Ace suddenly behind me, and my right, to my right, my left. I'm surrounded once again. Over here, and throwing store in my pocket. As the duplicates are vanishing and reappearing as I aimlessly search for the real one. Behind you, and he mocks, and I whip around, anger, blood, boiling my blood. You know what I'm going to do after I kill you? One of them asks, as another whispers loudly. I'm going to do the same to Payton. And then Ace, oh, then another Ace chimes in. It's such a shame too. I'm gonna miss looking at her. I'm going to kill her. No more games. No more toying. I'm ending this. I'm not going to end. I'm going to get here. I'm going to kill him now. No more games. No more toying. I'm ending this. This is people's problems with like, I'm gonna toy with him. I'm gonna toy with him. I can end this quickly, bitch. Just do it. Like, okay, take your damn time. Just do it. You just leaving them room to be able to attack you and give you and to hurt other people. Like it's some stupid shit. Okay, we're close to London for the dirt for the week. Where am I? Suddenly, the multiple aces vanish, leaving only one remaining. And I don't hesitate before raising my throat and starting to send it sailing through the air at his heart. I see his eyes widen when the blade sinks into the center of his chest, embedding deep into his flesh. He stumbles back, gasping as stare, it stares down at the final wound. It twists smiles finds its way to his lips. I'm going to enjoy, and that's tomorrow. Like I was like I skipped to the last kind of last lines, and I was like, that's Loki what I was thinking he would do. Because that's Loki's smart thing to do. I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna say it later, but it's like if you're gonna be evil and you have this power of an illusion, and the person you're attacking has people they care about that's around them, you know, be evil. I'm going to enjoy watching him die. I take my time walking over, watching as he drops his to his knees. I'm, sta- I'm standing over him now, staring down into his shining eyes, glistening with tears. And my smile falters. Those aren't his eyes. No, the eyes looking up at me a warm, large, a deep brown of melted chocolate. Sweet like the boy those belong to. I dropped to my knees. For the first time in years, I feel terrible terror. And the illusion blows away in the soft breeze, sending tendrils of smoke in the morning sky, leaving behind a bloody boy, my bloody brother, Jax. Now, I was gonna say Dukai, no, Dupaden, but I was murdered at a race to have him kill his brother. Because, like, I was, oh my gosh, this dude, like, he was like, oh, I can kill him so quickly, but I'm gonna tow it. Knowing he has the power of an illusion and he could do what he'd like with that. But he didn't. He decided to play around and he found out. And now he killed his own brother. Now,